Did you know that employers can be held responsible for sexual harassment outside of work when it involves employees, vendors, customers, or clients? Sexual harassment can and does occur outside of work. It's not confined to a work premise or company hours. While this may seem straightforward, it's important to be aware of sexual harassment both in and out of the practical workplace setting, because sometimes the answer isn't always clear whether or not sexual harassment occurred. Employees can file sexual harassment outside of working hours as long as there's a job connection. Let's look at and break down a real case that happened to get a better understanding of what this means. The New Hampshire case of McGuinn-Rowe versus Foster's Daily Democrat is a real case where an employee experienced sexual harassment outside of the workplace and work hours. Let's rewind back to 1990. Mary Beth McGuinn-Rowe went to grab drinks with some of her coworkers at a nearby bar after work. No red flags there. Getting drinks with coworkers is a pretty common and normal thing. Unfortunately for Mary Beth, things quickly started to get a little dicey. While at the event, her management-level coworker leaned in and rubbed himself against her. He did this after she had already expressed disinterest in his sexual remarks toward her in the past. In reporting the incident to her employer, they believed that this fell outside of the scope of their responsibilities because the instance occurred outside of work and work hours. Mary Beth didn't like that answer from her employer, for good reason. Ultimately, all of this led to court. The court ended up siding with Mary Beth because the incident at the bar created a hostile work environment. Court explained that the employer could be held liable for the harassment if it knew or should have known about the harassment's occurrence and failed to take appropriate steps to stop it, regardless of whether the harassment occurred on or off the work premises. Now, it's important for me to mention that each state has different regulations pertaining to sexual harassment, but the reality is that employers have a responsibility to take action for incidents of sexual harassment outside of the workplace, and the court case we just went through proves that. If an organization doesn't take remediation actions if an instance of sexual harassment happens outside of work in connection to a job, the organization is subject to real monetary penalties. To make matters worse, the penalties associated with these instances become more significant if an incident is reported and nothing is done. Sexual harassment is a common issue in the workplace, but it doesn't just end there. It's constant and takes on many forms in today's society, especially virtually, which we will talk about another time. If you'd like to learn more about sexual harassment outside of the workplace, click the link in the description to this video or reach out to eTactics. And you already made it this far into the video, so you might as well like it, share it, and comment below.